I can still hear David's voice breaking when he said, "Please don't do this to us." I was already mentally gone, suitcase half packed on our bed while he stood in the doorway like a ghost. 3 years together. A mortgage. Weekend trips to his parents' house where his mom would hint about grandkids. All of it felt so small compared to what Marcus was offering me. Marcus made me feel electric. David made me feel safe. Apparently, I chose electricity. We'd been texting for 2 months before I made the decision. Marcus was everything David wasn't: older, confident, drove a BMW, wore expensive watches. He'd slide into my DMs after I posted photos, calling me beautiful in ways that made my stomach flip. David would come home from his accounting job, kiss my forehead, and ask about my day. Marcus would send me photos from business trips to cities I'd never seen. "You deserve someone who sees your potential," Marcus would text. "You're too vibrant for suburban life." I started believing him. Started seeing David's quiet consistency as boring instead of dependable. Started resenting movie nights on the couch when Marcus was posting about rooftop bars and weekend getaways. My friends didn't help. "Girl, you're 26, not 46, Sarah would say. "Live a little before you settle down." The night I decided to leave, David had made my favorite dinner. Chicken parmesan, garlic bread, that cheap wine I actually liked. He was talking about refinancing the house, maybe getting a dog. Planning our future like it was certain. I watched him gesturing with his fork, sauce on his chin, and felt nothing but claustrophobia. "I need space," I said. His face crumpled. "What kind of space? Like a break or?" "I'm leaving, David. I can't do this anymore." He didn't get angry. He got small. Started bargaining. Promised we could travel more, that he'd been saving for a ring, that we could figure this out. His desperation should have broken my heart. Instead, it confirmed what Marcus had been whispering in my ear, that I was settling for less than I deserved. I spent 2 weeks on Sarah's couch while David blew up my phone. Voice messages where he cried. Texts asking what he did wrong. I blocked him on everything and felt liberated. Marcus picked me up in his BMW, kissed me hard in the front seat, and told me I'd made the right choice. The hotel room was perfect. Egyptian cotton sheets, champagne, city views. Marcus was everything I'd fantasized about. Confident. Experienced. He knew exactly what he was doing. We stayed in bed until checkout, ordering room service, planning all the places he'd take me. "My place next weekend," he said, kissing my neck. "I want to show you off properly." That's when he mentioned his situation at home. Situation? I was still glowing, still high on the fantasy. "My wife doesn't understand me the way you do. We're basically roommates. She's focused on the kids, I'm focused on work." He trailed off, stroking my hair. "It's complicated, but we'll figure it out." The hotel room suddenly felt cold. "Your wife?" "Baby, it's not like that. We haven't been happy in years. You're what I've been missing." I should have left right then. But I was already homeless, jobless. I'd quit my marketing position in a dramatic exit, planning to find myself, and completely dependent on the fantasy Marcus had sold me. Plus, he made it sound temporary. Like he was just waiting for the right moment to leave her. 3 months later, I was still waiting. David had stopped calling. Stopped texting. His social media went dark. When I drove past our old house, his house now, there were different curtains in the windows. Like he'd erased every trace of me. Marcus kept making excuses. The holidays were coming up, he couldn't disrupt the kids' Christmas. His business was going through a merger, the timing was bad. His wife was dealing with her mother's illness. Always something. I was living in a studio apartment across town, burning through my savings, working at a coffee shop for minimum wage. The barista who'd thought she was too good for suburban stability. The morning everything collapsed, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw David's post. Him with a woman I didn't recognize, both of them laughing at some restaurant I'd never been to. She was pretty in an understated way, the kind of natural beauty I'd spent years trying to fake with makeup and filters. The caption said 6 months of happiness with a heart emoji. 6 months. He'd moved on 6 months ago, and I never knew because I'd blocked him everywhere. My phone buzzed. "Marcus, canceling our weekend plans again. Family emergency," he said. But his Instagram story showed him at his daughter's soccer game, arm around his wife, both of them smiling like the perfect family they'd always been. I finally understood what I'd traded away. David's love had been real. Quiet, consistent, unglamorous, but real. Marcus's was a game, and I wasn't even the main player. When I tried calling David that night, his number was disconnected. The confrontation with Marcus happened at a Starbucks downtown. I demanded we meet in person after weeks of his bullshit excuses. He showed up 20 minutes late, still in his wedding ring, looking annoyed like I was inconveniencing him. When are you leaving her? I asked directly. He stirred his coffee slowly, not meeting my eyes. Look, this isn't easy. We have history, kids, financial entanglements. You said you were basically roommates? We are, but, he sighed like I was being unreasonable. I never promised I'd leave tomorrow. These things take time. How much time? Because I left someone who actually loved me for this. That's when his mask slipped. Nobody forced you to leave him. You made that choice because you wanted something better. Don't put that on me. I sat there staring at this man I destroyed my life for, seeing him clearly for the first time. He wasn't going to leave his wife. He never was. I was just entertainment. A midlife crisis with a 26-year-old face. We're done, I said. He shrugged. Your choice. That was it. 3 months of lies, ended with a shrug. I spent the next week trying to reach David through mutual friends. Sarah wouldn't help. She blamed me for not taking her advice to keep both options open. Our other friends had chosen sides, and apparently I was on the losing team. His best friend Matt told me to leave him alone, he's happy now. I found David's new number through a people search app and called from a blocked number. He answered on the third ring. Hello? David, it's me. Please don't hang up. Silence. Then, what do you want? His voice was different. Colder. More confident. The pleading tone from our breakup was completely gone. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. I want to talk. There's nothing to talk about. Please. 5 minutes. I know I hurt you, but we had something real. We can fix this. He laughed, but it wasn't bitter. It was almost amused. Fix this? You think you can just come back when your affair didn't work out? How did you? Sarah told everyone at Jake's birthday party. The whole thing. How you left me for some married guy, how you're working at a coffee shop now, how he never left his wife. Everyone knows. My stomach dropped. Sarah had broadcast my humiliation to our entire friend group. I was the cautionary tale now, the girl who threw away a good thing for fool's gold. David, I was confused. I thought I wanted something else, but you were wrong. And now you're alone and you want to come home. Except this isn't your home anymore. What about everything we built together? You mean what I rebuilt after you destroyed it? The house you walked away from? The future you called boring? Yeah, that's all mine now. And it's better without you in it. His words hit like physical blows. This wasn't the David who'd begged me to stay. This was someone I'd created through my cruelty. I love you, I whispered. No, you don't. You love the security I represented. You love having a backup plan. But you don't love me, because if you did, you wouldn't have left. The line went dead. I drove past our old house one last time. His car was in the driveway next to a silver sedan I didn't recognize. Through the living room window, I could see him on the couch with a woman from Instagram. She was curled up against him, the way I used to, but she looked like she belonged there. Like she'd never leave. I sat in my car across the street like a stalker, watching the life I'd abandoned flourish without me. David looked relaxed, happy, more confident than I'd ever seen him. He'd gotten a haircut, maybe been working out. The man I thought was boring had become everything I'd been looking for, just not with me. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number: stop driving by my house or I'll call the police. Even my stalking wasn't subtle anymore. The coffee shop fired me 3 weeks later for being unreliable and distracted. I'd been showing up late, mixing up orders, crying in the bathroom during breaks. My studio apartment lease was up, and I couldn't afford to renew it. I had to move back in with my parents at 27, carrying my life in the same suitcase I'd packed the night I left David. My mom didn't say I told you so, but her silence was worse than any lecture. Marcus blocked me on everything after I sent one too many desperate texts. His Instagram showed family vacation photos from Hawaii, him, his wife, his 2 kids building sandcastles. He looked genuinely happy, like I'd never existed. David's engagement announcement appeared on Facebook 6 months later. The woman from the restaurant, whose name was Emily, wore a ring that was bigger and prettier than anything he could have afforded when we were together. The comments section was full of congratulations from all our old friends. People who used to be my friends. I wasn't invited to the wedding. I work at a different coffee shop now, in a different town where nobody knows my story. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with thin walls and loud neighbors. On weekends, I scroll through social media and watch other people live the life I threw away. David and Emily bought a bigger house last year. They have a golden retriever named Charlie and take weekend trips to wineries. She posts pictures of date nights and home-cooked dinners and the kind of quiet happiness I once called boring. I'm 29 now, And the men who hit on me are either married themselves or looking for something temporary. The good ones, the David types, can smell the desperation on me from across the room. Sometimes I catch myself wondering what would have happened if I'd stayed. If I'd chosen consistency over excitement, real love over fantasy. We'd probably be married by now, maybe thinking about kids, fighting about whose turn it is to take out the trash. It sounds perfect. I traded a man who begged me not to leave for one who was never planning to stay, and now I understand the difference between being wanted and being valued. David valued me enough to fight for us. Marcus just wanted me available when convenient. The saddest part isn't that I'm alone, it's that I made myself alone by choice, and now I finally understand what I chose to lose.